Sorry, man. I'm just having. Good evening, all, and welcome to Devil's Advocate podcast. The review of the match that shall go down in our current form is shocking from Manchester United fans, but as my good friend Awaleed will suggest, that it was great from Newcastle's fans. But look, just before we get into what's happening with the review, etc., I just want to give you a bit of news. Really, an update you on a couple of things that Devil's Advocate podcast is doing. First and foremost, we're very, very proud to announce that we have teamed up with manchestermind.org as our chosen charity. And I will put a ticker across the bottom of the screen if you could all donate. We all are very, very, very well aware of mental health issues, people close to us that you don't even know are suffering. So Manchester Mind is out there to help, as are we, by the way, as hosts and contributors of our channel. If ever you need to speak to anybody, you may speak to manchestermind.org, or you may speak to any of us on this panel and anyone who's associated with the Devil's Advocate. People are people at the end of the day. We're all human beings, and we all require thoughts, love, etc. So please, please, please check on everybody who's close to you. Please, please, please donate to manchestermind.org. Please, please, please do talk to any one of us if you so need. Reese, great to have you. Brilliant. Well, look, let's quickly go around the panel. We are waiting on Vicky. Vicky's going to be running just a couple of minutes late, so let's not do. So when she comes on, she'll obviously brighten up the screen a lot more than what I do. So, Awaleed, great to have you again. Thanks ever so much for coming on. Awaleed, by the way, this is Reese in the bottom left-hand corner as you look at it. And then there's Marcus. So let's get into it then. We'll start with Newcastle, Awaleed, because obviously at the end of the day you will be buzzing, and rightly so. I thought Newcastle were tremendous last night. So just give us your thoughts, and then we'll just go around the panel and we'll get into it.
Good evening, all. Nice to meet you again, Stu. Marcus.
You too.
Well, about the game, I expected a draw, 0-0, if you remember, Stu. What was a close game. I believe Newcastle was. Now we are like playing in the momentum. The player know how to play with Eddie Howe tactics. They are like everybody know what's doing. Even we are like we don't have that much of change substitutions, but it seems that now Newcastle reach a level of be in the momentum. This has happened for all, mostly all the team in the leagues, which they are in a level they know how to perform with, even if they are short of players or have injuries. Like Newcastle have the team are injured, but the good thing for Newcastle is they are they are like now they are stable, know what they're doing in the field. On the other side, for Manchester, I see that the good thing maybe I notice about Ten Hag that he's quiet, even if things not going in his direction. He play also with injuries, but it seems still he didn't reach to the formula of or the momentum for the team so far. I believe this will change for after the transfer window in the winter in January.
Yeah, words well spoken. There was a huge debate amongst Manchester United fans last night. And I know Marcus Rees and welcome, Vicky. Although I think she might have popped off somewhere, but welcome. And here she is. Hey, welcome, Vicky. You're on mute, darling. Oh, I still can't hear you. Can anyone hear Vic?
I can't.
No. You might have to try coming back in, Chuck, maybe. So, yeah, the debate last night was we were quite lazy as a unit. We just couldn't, not that we couldn't put it together. Newcastle wouldn't allow us to put it together. You know, the way that you pressed, the way that you hounded us, the way that as much as I got criticised for this when we got beat by Brentford a season back, I equated to Brentford's play of like 8-year-olds because they were just chasing around the park all the time. And, you know, to great effect, Anthony Gordon did exactly the same. As I'm sure Marcus will come into it, was our Marcus Rashford decided, I might just, I'm not even going to jog. I can't be bothered to even jog at that point, and because I don't want to sweat too much. But look, from my point of view, and I'll get into it in a bit more detail, we were well and truly beaten, and I've got no excuses as a Manchester United fan. But Marcus, welcome. Great to have you again. I haven't seen you for a while. Great to have you back. Yeah, give us your thoughts.
Well, I'm just glad that my internet's working again. It mysteriously just stopped working 10 minutes ago, and then it started working again. Anyways, United, it was a difficult game to watch. Probably one of the more difficult games to watch in recent memory. I know it sounds like Manchester United fans say that every week, but for me, this is the one game where I was like, man, we just look like we're not even putting in the effort. So many players not tracking back, and even on the ball, so many players not understanding the basics. The fact that a teenager looked like our most calm and poised midfielder and was keeping things simple, whilst the other two weren't really holding up their end of the bargain, is just really disappointing. And props to Newcastle, man, because they actually played football. Newcastle have a bit of a reputation of being a boring team in the Premier League, but actually they were quite energetic and aggressive yesterday. They didn't just sit back and, try play it out. They actually kept on going. And even when they didn't get the chances in the first half, they didn't just say, okay, well, we don't want to take too many risks now. Let's just take the draw. No, they still played football. I would argue they actually played better in the early part of the second half than they did in the first half. They just went up another level. So props to Newcastle. And as for United, again, part of it is just Newcastle playing well, but I feel like another part of it is just us not having the right mentality. There's a few players in that dressing room who look like they've just given up on the manager, the way I see it.
No, words well spoken. Reese, I'll obviously get your take on the game as well, but just a quick statement that Harry Maguire came out with last night, which, by the way, I thought he was one of our better players again. Last night, he said that 3 away games in 6 days is taking its toll, and it looked like we played 3 away games in 6 days. I'm not so sure I'm on board with that at all. Get on with it is always been my attitude. You're a professional footballer. I don't want to see excuses. What was your take on it?
For me, I don't like bullshit excuses. I don't like players who will use any circumstance to try and get sympathy. For me, if you're shit football, then you're shit football. Don't play the sport ever again. Like, plain and simple. Or go and play Sunday League where you belong. Like, our entire team yesterday, no one impressed me. Like, no one on that field. Maybe Kobe Mainu at best, Garnacho at times. Just because they actually worked, even though they didn't particularly do anything. I'm going to be honest, I don't think Maguire played well. I know a lot of people are going to say, but that's because you're biased, you don't like him. No. Like, I'm putting bias aside for a moment. Like, I don't think any of our defence played well. Because if our defence played well, we would have kept a clean sheet. Newcastle's defence played well, hence they kept a clean sheet. Their attack played well because they scored. Our attack didn't play well because we didn't score. It's plain and simple, black and white. There's no grey areas, there's no purple patches. It's plain and simple. We were fucking awful. We should have lost 4 or 5-0. Let's be real. It should have been 4 or 5-0. Anthony Gordon I slated him for saying he was overrated to fuck at Everton, and I still stand by it. He was overrated to fuck by Everton fan base, the Everton fan base. He's went to Newcastle. He's matured a little bit since he had that telling off half time. I think it was at it was an FA Cup game, League Cup game. Al Walid will be able to confirm that, but I know it went viral. The video where he had a bitch fit Eddie Howe. Since then, he's probably been Newcastle's best player. Probably, and he's done something that nobody since Shearer's done in since the 90s or something. He scored 4 consecutive home games, which is mental. I'll stand by it. Everton fan base overrated him to fuck, but he's matured a lot since he went to Newcastle, and I've been very impressed by him. Our team, we've still got players have still got to mature, still got to actually show their worth. But theoretically speaking, only 2 players turned up out of 11 plus substitutes. I'm sorry, but that's not enough. That's not good enough. It's embarrassing.
No, it definitely isn't. Marcus, you want to come in on Maino?
I did, but just on Gordon. Gordon and Almiron for me are players I class in the same category, because I hear a lot of people say that they are limited footballers, right? In the sense that they're not as good as the Mo Salahs and the Sons of the league. But I've actually been quite impressed with them.
Funny, eh?
Yeah, but I've been impressed with them this season because they seem like one of the more underrated players in that Newcastle team, like especially Almiron. He works really hard. He presses from the front. He finds ways of just being impactful for his team. Scored a few goals this season as well. I'm not sure what his tally is because I don't watch Newcastle every week, but I remember even in the PSG game, the way he was able to just score and how the crowd was just buzzing. He is a player who really is doing the best with what he's got. And then you look on the opposite side of the pond, and it's the complete opposite. And on Mainu, I feel like Kobe Mainu and Garnacho are to Manchester United what water is to a desert, right? Water in normal supply is not that great, but when you're in the desert, it tastes amazing because you don't have much of it. And I think that's what Kobe Mainu is for Manchester United at the moment. He's a player who just keeps things simple.
Sorry to cut you. So he's played 14 games already in the Premier League, 2 goals, 1 assist. So he's already got half the amount of assists he got last year. He got 11 goals last year in the league for 34 games.
What about all competitions?
I'm just looking through that. So he's played all 5 games in the Champions League, 1 goal. So 3 goals, 3 goals so far. He's played 2 games in the EFL Cup, 1 goal. That's it so far, literally. So 4 goals?
Not many goals actually.
So 4 goals, 1 assist, and he's played 21 matches already.
Is that Gordon or Miguel Almiron?
No, that's Miguel Almiron.
Miguel Almiron. Walid, what's your thoughts on both Almiron and Gordon as to what the lads are saying? Where do you sit with those?
Well, the good thing about them, they are. When we talked before the game, I said that Eddie Howe bringing a player. They are building. He's building his lineup one by one or step by step to match or choose the players or train them, improve them, like what he did with everybody in Newcastle, to play and perform the way he wants or fit his match his tactics. This is not happening, I believe, with Ten Hag, because the number of players, Manchester United signing players for different coaches, they bring the players and signing them for a long time. So it's different for Ten Hag when he came from Ajax, when he used to train just the youth in the Dutch league. It's different in Manchester United because he came and all these players are there. So, but in the other side for Newcastle with Eddie Howe, as I said, he's bringing the players, improve them, and I think half the team was play under Steve Bruce, the ex-manager, and they were all. And I remember the fans they saying after the takeover, those players should be go, but instead Eddie Howe train them and help them to improve themselves and match his tactics. So nobody was like Almiron or Gordon. A lot of fans, especially Gordon, they said, why bringing Gordon? We didn't need him now. I think he's candidate for England squad. Also Joelinton was the worst player under Steve Bruce. But look now how he's turning in. So it's like picking the right coach, fitting the plan of the club. It's helped Eddie Howe to reach, regardless the injuries, reach this performance for the team, as we said yesterday. I saw Ten Hag after game review. He said that we're playing too much games in small short of time. I guess he was want to say, because he played with Galatasaray in Champions League, and the flight cancelled and the airplane came by the coach. So I understand how maybe he doesn't want to say that, but of course this is one of the reasons why the team seemed like exhausted maybe last night.
Yeah, look, you're right, actually, Aweline, what you say with regards to a mix of players that Ten Hag inherited and a mix of players that Eddie Howe inherited. What Eddie Howe inherited, though, is a bunch of players who actually enjoy playing football and want to play football and kind of actually understand what it means to represent Newcastle United. We're in a situation at the minute where we have a host of players who just can't seem to be bothered. It's a chore to wear the kit. It's a chore to put the boots on, and they seem to have forgotten what it was that made them desire wanting to be a professional footballer back when they were 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, when they couldn't wait to get outside and kick a ball around. We don't have that same anticipation anymore. And I watched the team in red last night. They were completely outworked, not necessarily outmaneuvered, and not necessarily, and I don't like the phrase out tactics at all, really, because I'm not so sure I like that phrase, but we certainly didn't provide any real steel to stop wave after wave after wave of what Newcastle pushed through. And there are times, and Reece has heard me talk about this a lot, where sometimes you have to go rogue in a game of football. You have to forget what you spoke about in training. You have to forget what you spoke about pre-match. You have to forget what the manager's telling you to do and actually understand what's happening in front of you and deal with it. You have to, sometimes you've just got to deal with what's happening in front of you. And either we don't have that common sense to do it, or we don't have the capacity to do it, or actually we just can't be bothered to do it. And I think we can't be bothered.
I think one thing though is, like, when you talk about going rogue, is last night was not the right game for it. Because last night, where we had scored 3 goals in midweek and we still lost out on what we really need to do objective wise.
Yeah.
This game against Newcastle should have been more about the team actually working as a team to try and prove a point. And they ended up proving the point that they're genuinely shit. So, like, I think last night's circumstance being, I think last night, by the circumstance of saying, well, you should go rogue, I mean, I completely understand where you're coming from, because we agreed on that last time. But in this light of circumstance against Newcastle, where we've conceded nearly 30 shots,
we
only hit like 7 or 8. I'm sorry, but I wouldn't go rogue last night. The team last night should have tried to push on as a team. It's not going anywhere, and we've saw players try before to go rogue, and look where it got them. It's got them nowhere. I think last night, pure in the sense of it's like, this team has a point to prove, and so far they're proving everybody right. The ones that actually think they're shit, they're actually proving them right, because they're not actually doing anything. And I think that says a lot. When you look at our team, how many of them actually starting other teams in the top 4? Like, genuinely, hardly any of them right now, because they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, and just before I bring Vic in, hi Vicky, by the way.
Hi, can you hear me now?
We can indeed. This is Aloise, and he's a Newcastle fan from Saudi Arabia. He was on with our preview, so we've invited him back. Reece, you're 100% right. And what annoys me about our squad is we're not hard. We're not tough enough. We're just a bunch of pansies. There's no real grit. There's no determination at the minute.
I know I've not seen him in a while, but honestly, this bunch of players we've got will lose to Jamie Mackay's team. I've not seen him in a while, so shout out to Jamie. But the team that he coaches would school our first team. Like easy. And that says a lot. Not disrespect to Jamie's team, but they would school our team because
Well,
they're
no,
properly coached.
it wouldn't surprise me. Hey, Vic, looking well. What's your thoughts then? What's your thoughts on that game? We've obviously gone around the group. I mean, Marcus is having internet issues. I'm sure he'll come back. But yeah, what do you think?
Well, let's just start with the fact that all the higher teams are losing points.
Yes,
at
they
the
are.
moment.
Yes,
Can we just
yes.
take that positive? Eric Ten Hag is in a bit in denial, but he's meant to be. That's his job, to not sound really bad. I really want to know what's up with Rashford more than anybody else. Yeah.
Yeah, that was terrible, wasn't it? Terrible performance.
And how are we having such a switch around from this season to last season? Like literally, you couldn't even mirror it. It's so back to front.
I think that's the question, and it's a really good question, is what's happening this season? Why a dislike, if there is a dislike to ETH as opposed to last season? What is the fundamental ingredient that's missing that knitted everyone together last season and has absolutely ripped them to pieces this season? So it's a really good question, Vic. Sorry, carry on, Chuck.
Well, he's clear. He says he's picking people who he trusts. These people he was willing enough to sell. That's a bad thing. Yeah, I really wouldn't mind to know. This is the only team I don't know that you can't see what's happening on the inside. And I'm sure come tomorrow, stupid amount of leaks are going to be coming out that players are disinterested and blah, 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 blah. See who you can throw under the bus first. You got to be positive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Chelsea might be difficult, might be easy. They got a red card today, so they're one of their favourite players down. I'm not sure, it's Delo and I remember Saka. They're like a swing and a roundabout. You don't know which one you're going to get. That's what one will play good and the other will play terrible. But I wouldn't mind just seeing Shaw back on being a left back, because that's when we played much better midweek, was when he was being a left back rather than, and it's more of a central role. So I'd rather see that come Chelsea.
Yeah, we lost a lot of balance, I felt. I think you're right with Shaw, at centre back. I know Varane's not had the biggest and the best season so far, but maybe you bring him in to play alongside Maguire. Or if you put Shaw at left back, then you bring Reguilón in to start, a natural left-footed player. He did okay when he arrived. I know many people want him to go back to Spurs in January. But by the time January comes, Malacia will be so short of match fitness because he's not back yet fully training. So we've got issues.
He needs to go as well. He needs to go as well.
He just had another surgery last week, didn't he, on his knee?
One thing that worries me is I like Malacia, but I don't think he's going to cut it in the league. I don't think he's going to.
He's only young. He is only young.
I know, and I think he's got likable qualities. But the fact that he's had that type of injury already, and he's already third choice, potentially fourth choice, because Dalot seems to just play at left back quite a bit, and I'm like, I don't like seeing him left back anyway. But I genuinely think Malacia might not cut it. I know we got him so cheap, but it begs the question: is he actually going to be a long-term issue? Sorry, not a long-term issue, a long-term solution. I'm not so sure.
We bought him for cheap. Does that mean that we can sell him for a profit?
No, we'll sell him for less than what we got.
I'm not so sure he's selling in a minute. Walid, what did you think of our defending last night as a whole? As a Newcastle fan, as a neutral football fan, what did you think of our defending?
You mean Manchester defending, or?
Yeah, Manchester. Yeah, Manchester United defending. Yeah.
This team, they are not they are not playing as a group. I noticed that. I believe when I see Maguire, he did okay, he did a good job, but it seems they are shattered. They are, I believe, maybe better your team, but I believe the things happen outside in management level, outside of the field, affect the player in the field. I remember something during the takeover of Newcastle, which is stay long more than 18 months, we have such a similar situation that the player, they are not focused. Some player, they are thinking about their future because maybe some player have no faith in the coach, worry about his future. You speaking about Martial. I remember maybe the only game I saw for Martial is the first game against Liverpool, if you remember. I think that's the only time I see Martial did okay. Actually, I was surprised that he's still in the lineup. It was for me weird. I saw him play, but as I said, I don't watch much games for Manchester lately. But I still that they lose the spark. And they are good players, but they need some kind of motivation. Maybe I think they need at least if there is no much, if the management or the owners of Newcastle will still be the Glazers, and there is no much like they will stop the takeover, or they are gonna be enough with Radkel 20% owning. I believe they just need a coach who really can sparking or re-sparking the players. They need a coach with different understanding. Like maybe I can't say bringing Marino back, but I think they need something like someone like Simeone from Atletico. I think he can get the team back at the right track.
Yeah, we appear to have a problem with internal discipline player wise. Look, I'm an old school guy, so I don't care if a manager comes out, the gaffer comes out and criticises me. That's what you're there for. Our players seem to enjoy the limelight of so-called fame to an extent, but they don't like it when they're called upon, and they should be called out. You want to be in the public eye, you're in the public eye for a reason, so we're going to call you out. But our players don't have the mental capacity, the strength, the inner strength to cope with that, and it's a real problem for us. I quite like Simeone. He's been mentioned on a few occasions about coming in, and he would push that discipline. Our problem is the players that we've got, they can't adapt to that kind of stuff. You know, they don't like being pushed to the utmost limit. And you can tell by the performance. You know, Twitter was awash yesterday with, oh, we train too hard. Bollocks. You can never train too hard. Or we do this too much. Bollocks. You can never do anything too much in football. If you want to get to the very, 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 very top, you've got to do everything you can to claw your way out there. Otherwise, just curl up in a ball and get kicked. That's the problem with our players right now. And that's my issue.
Another thing with them, though. There is another thing that's quite funny about this lot is I hate the likes of TikTok, but there's a friend of mine at work that absolutely loves TikTok, which is a shame. But there's a TikTok trend about young people who are like too lazy to get a job. So like they think they wouldn't work in society or they wouldn't work. Our players literally have that work ethic where they're actually supporting those that cannot do it. So there you go. I've said it before. 1, I don't smoke. 2, I don't drink unless I really want to. But like I said, and I said to Stu as well, you can like Maguire all you want, you can like Luke Shaw. None of them impress me. None of them. And that's my opinion. Like simple as. Like it's no bias aside.
Opinions about what it's about. Victor, what's
exactly like, and also giving them these fucking nicknames. That's another thing. You give them these nicknames thinking they're your mates. They didn't give a fuck what we think. They don't give a fuck what their manager thinks. Like, oh, go up to him. Oh, hi, Arashi. How you doing? You're a good player, mate. Well, okay, then I'll sulk for 300k. Like, it means fuck all. Like, these players are spoiled little fucking cunts. Every single one of them.
You're not allowed. You're gonna get Reese. I'm gonna get shot.
Sorry, I'll get shot later. It's fine. It's me saying it. It's me saying it. I mean, I've only said it once. But the problem I've got with the worst thing about these players, and this is the annoying thing, right? They all come across as likable. And then they throw it in your face.
I think
I'm like,
that's not what you want. No.
Oh, I'm saying like at the moment they are coming across as dislikable. But when you actually see them play and how they act for fans and all that, and how they towards games, some of them genuinely show like that sort of connection to a fan. There's some of them who just disappear and they have to get dragged back. They're the ones that are dislikable. But there are some of those players you actually think they're actually quite likable. They're decent human beings. And then they throw it in your face. You wonder why they get abused on social media or they get XYZ at a football game. Because I hate seeing it, but it's simple as you're just adding fuel to the fire. You're just giving them a reason to hate you, or an even bigger reason to just say, "Get the fuck out of my club."
Well, we'll see what happens. Yeah, we'll see what happens.
That's what they're coming across as, and I think that's not helpful. That's not good enough. And you spoke about like players or men like the times have changed, where only a few clubs in the Premier League are actually holding players accountable. Like their managers are able to hold them accountable and they actually listen. They actually care. For us, it's the same circumstance over and over again. Only a few of them will actually take on what they're being told if they're being given constructive criticism. The rest of them just run into a shell. They send a message to Samuel Luckhurst expecting him to write a 500-word article that genuinely sucks anyway, but it's not going to do much because at the end of the day, their performances matter. And if you're not performing, why should we care about you? Why should we care?
I think this is it. Vic, do we need a real manager? That's what Alex is saying. I'm not quite sure what a real manager is, but do we need one?
Pass. I'm not answering that question. I think
Excellent.
It's stupid.
Yeah, it's not what I would class to be. I don't.
Alex seems to be doing the same thing that quite a lot of the fan base are doing. That's living in the past, and that's it. Just living in the past. It's constantly comparing to the old, to the new. Just stop it. It's just like, you know what? I get annoyed. I see people going, "What about why did you get rid of David De Gea? You know, what? But we were missing Ollie. You guys can miss him all you bloody well want, but it's not going to change anything."
Correct.
Go on, go have your Ollie. Go and put your post about Ollie on how you miss him. Go on, go and put your thing about David De Gea might have said that. Go on, but what is it doing? Oh, it's just pissing you off, and it's pissing me off to see it. Sorry.
I see them. I see those tweets all the time from like somebody I know literally called them just the Ollie. Like they're now called the Ollie revisionist guys, and it's just every single time. And I'm not gonna lie, it does make me laugh. But a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, they were all slating him anyway. So I'm like if you're going to be consistent about one manager, why do you have to be hypocritical about the same manager that you wanted out 2 years ago? I just find it funny. You know what I mean? Like I just find it funny.
Just give it some time. Just give things some time. Get injuries back. Get consistent back four. Wouldn't mind actually seeing some actually good midfielding happening, but half of them are injured. Just give it some time. Why are we so we need to change right now? It's not changed anything then. It's not going to change anything now. Just stick with it. Get the new owners in. Get things changed, and just work on that. Why do we have to worry about it when Arsenal fans have had Arteta just do nothing forever except from an FA Cup, and they get to keep him, and now he's the best thing since sliced bread? Why are we Pep given multiples amount of money to make a dream team so on the second season that he start winning things? Why is Klopp allowed to just have these moments? Look where they are now. Look where they were last season. Look where Chelsea were. Chelsea at the second half were having a relegation battle, right? At one. So this, what are we 5 points, 6 points away from City? We're probably too many points from the top. But we're going for top four?
I think it's 5 this year, right? 5.
Yeah.
Champions
Five seasons before Klopp won anything.
Yeah, so all these other teams, they're losing points, right? They're losing points. We are losing points, but something will change, There
is no consistency in the Premier League at the minute, and that's great, And we're still within touching distance.
Unless you're Arsenal, they're the only team I think that's consistent at the moment. Yeah.
And that's all because of injuries due to that World Cup. That's just too many games played last season, and it's all catched up.
I think there's more to it, you know what I mean? Like for us in particular, I think there's so much more that we can't see. And you said earlier on, Vicky, about we can't see behind the scenes. I think in a nutshell, it's also a good thing because these players, if they saw what if the fans could see what the players or whatever, or the manager or whatever is behind the scenes, it would just, as I said about add fuel to the fire. It would give more.
All I worry
element,
about
I
is the
think.
youth squad. Is the youth players.
Yeah.
Them getting, if they get infected into this, then that's where the issues are going
That's
to
a good
keep on
point.
going.
Yeah.
That's certainly been
I don't-
happening.
Because Garnacho is being undertaken in Bruno's wing as such as a captain. I think he's doing quite well with Garnacho, but is he doing it for everybody else? I'm not sure. But is he trying to keep Garnacho grounded, which he definitely needs to be? Yeah. Do I think? Oh, I don't want to be a negative person on a captain, but do I think Bruno can captain Hedgebury? Don't think so.
I think the
I
one
think
thing that
it'd
is concerning, I think I said it a couple of weeks ago, is I don't see a spine. Like, I don't see a spine in the team where you've got like the leaders all the way through from every position. So I don't see a spine at centre, like in central defence. I don't see a spine in midfield, like from both the middle and the back of the midfield, or even further forward. I don't see it, and I don't see a spine in the attack. And I think that's because they're just so afraid to actually take it for themselves. Like, if anything, a leader will take it as well as show it. Like, they will show why they're in that sort of position of respect, that position of why they are that dependable, because we know they're good enough. And I don't see it. And that's not me knocking the likes of Varane. Like, Varane is a good player. Do I think he's a leader? No. But when you look at experience, he should be, because he's got the experience of playing for football's greatest ever club, historical wise, in success in terms of Real Madrid. I think Martinez has those sort of attributes as well, but it's not there. But when he does play, when he does come back from injury, the one thing we will see though is he will run through brick walls. And I think when you look at our midfield, is it there? I mean, I know your eyes deceive you, but yes, like, it is. I don't particularly see a spine. Like, I can see a spine at other clubs. Like, I can see a spine at Arsenal. I can see a spine at Tottenham. Like, to be fair, even though Postecoglou is not long in the job, but he's lost a few key players to injury, I can see a spine for them. I can unfortunately see a spine for Liverpool and Man City, which makes me sick. I think Chelsea could potentially have a spine in the foreman, but for us, I don't see it. And without a spine, like, goals win you games, defense win you trophies, but a spine also carries you. Like, a midfield is important. Injuries are one thing, but if you don't have a spine, regardless, you're going nowhere. And I don't see one.
I mean, the interesting thing is we had one last season, and we don't appear to have one this season. Walid, I'll come to you. What's the perception of Manchester United in your home city? What do people think of Manchester United?
Well, we have a huge base for Manchester fans in Saudi Arabia. They are almost like matching what Manchester City, Manchester Town, speaking about the team. They also think that, and I agree with them that when you see Ten Hag on the sideline of the field, it's like he's like, I don't know if this is right. It's like a dead man walking. He's like feeling that he's like waiting to be sacked sooner or later. I remember like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He did have a good run with the team, but if I remember correctly, last few months when he was the manager, he think that there is something that he been laid down by the players, and I think this is continue with Ten Hag. So they are not always, of course, when something when things go wrong, everyone blaming the manager. Maybe the manager, he's not maybe he's a victim, but at least you can't. What easy is to change the owners or to change the players or change the manager. So the easy option is that changing the manager. As Reese says, also the spine. I can understand what he mean. I understand what he mean. Yeah, it's obviously
it's like a core group. It's like a core group of players that you can actually fundamentally build your team around, and I don't see it in our squad.
Yeah, I can see the players have no trust with Ten Hag. They just playing. Okay, this is the tactics we play, but something missing really. It's the is the spark. They need like a waking call, or maybe if you can. You, of course, you watch more games for Manchester. If you can like remember what's the last good game for Manchester United, I think it's been a while.
I think our best game this season was when we beat you in the Carabao Cup, I think.
Yes.
That was last season, but I don't know. I thought we had. I think we have bits. That's the problem. Bits, not full half. Can't even do like second-hand United anymore, can we?
No, you can't. I mean, it's. I tell you what annoys me and interests me more than anything is it's always the manager's fault. When as a player, if you've had a bad game, if I've had a bad game, it's my own fault. I'm the only one that can make me play well. The manager can't make me play well. He can advise me, he can guide me, but it's really down to me, my 2 feet and my brain that makes me play either good or bad. And it's the same for our players. They've got to use their brains. Right, guys, we're 40 minutes into the show. What we tend to do is, and you can join in with this, we have we rate the players, the Manchester United players. So you can join into this. It's going to be, the guys are going to like absolutely destroy us. So it'd be quite interesting to see what you rate our players. We rate them out of 10. Harry Maguire being 10 always. Nobody's allowed to give him anything below a 10.
I'm literally just going to give them all the same score, mate. Just saying in advance.
But we'll go through it. We'll start with the goalkeeper, the fullbacks, and then and that's what we tend to do traditionally, Alois. But as you can see, the guys, they're not happy. And I think there'll be some low scores.
Can I do Onana? Can I just? I'm going to give him a 7.5.
Yeah. What? Sorry, hon.
A 7.5.
7.5. Reese, what do you give Onana?
Nah.
What was that?
Reese, you got to be a little helpful.
You got to give him a score.
4.
Oh, crikey.
They were all shit. Like, generosity killed the cat. It's not curiosity. Generosity did it.
You give him a 6, would you?
Yeah.
Well, that's not bad. Yeah, that's not bad. I think 7, 7.5, 6. Anything around there. I thought Onana was okay. He couldn't do much with the goal. I thought it was, we were woefully exposed on the right, and Wan-Bissaka was having a kip for good. Because at the end of the day, defending that race would have been quite simple. I just stuck my arm across Gordon.
He was too busy. He was far too busy doing other things yesterday. Like, he was one of the worst players in the pitch, and straight away, Wan-Bissaka 0.
You got to kind of know. You've got to know. Our lead, we will give you, and we'll start with you this time, and then we'll go round. So we'll give you Aaron Wan-Bissaka, our right back.
6 as well.
So there you go, 6. Vic.
4.5.
4.5, and Reese. 0. Does he not get like a 1?
Fault for the goal. Wasn't paying attention? Didn't even bother. Like, I'm sorry, but nah.
He wasn't paying attention. No, you're absolutely right.
Just for a fact, because everybody seems to do this over social media. If that had been Victor Lindelof, that would have been complete slating. So I'm just holding the same sort of thing accountable. So straight up 0. No,
fair enough. So that leads me. Then we'll start with Reese on the man of the match, which was Sir Harry Maguire. Clearly a 10.
Wow.
Reese, Harry.
Sorry.
He did all right. Harry did yesterday. He did okay from a defender, which I am a centre half. He played quite well. His position on his aerial, he did all right yesterday. Did Harry?
5.5.
No, that's well, okay. Go on, then. Vic. Come on, Vic.
He's still not, good with travelling the ball.
No,
So
he doesn't travel well with a football. Agreed.
right. So 8.8.
8.8. Well done, Chuck. I like that one. Trevor's in with 8.5. On Trev. Our lead.
Okay. Well, I think he's kind of responsible for the goal, but 7.5 if we say speaking points.
Yes, excellent. Good scores there, Reese. Take notes. Vicky, we'll start with you with Luke Shaw.
Oh, Luke, just out of position, but still comfortable.
Yeah, he was.
7.3.
That's fair. Our lead, I'll go to you before Reese slates him.
7.5.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. Come on, then, Reese.
5.
Right, okay. So, I can't believe it. For me, Dallo was poor anyway. So I'll give Reese Dallo to start with. He was poor for me.
Sell him.
So,
That's his rating. Sell him. That's his rating.
That's an Aaron Wan-Bissaka score. Then is it a 0?
Yep.
I agree, Julio.
Genuinely awful.
Okay, Vic.
Oh, I can't quite like Delo really. 'Cause when he's good, he's good. When he's this, he's that. You know. Oh, 3.
3. Okay, no. Trevor's gone with 1. Our lead. What did you think of Dallo?
5.
5, yeah. But I mean, yeah, Paul, basically. Kobe Maino. I fear who's going to be cut really here. Where actually individually, I thought he played quite well when he was on the ball. So I fear he may be a victim of other team performers in your scores. I hope not, because I thought he was very good yesterday. We'll start with our lead on that one.
7.
Okay, I think that's fair. Yeah, Reese.
6.5. I was
Okay,
impressed by him.
Yeah, no, that's good. And Vic.
I don't want to judge him. I don't want to judge him. It's too early.
You gotta give a score.
I don't want to, because I don't think it's fair for a young player. I don't think it's fair.
That's fair. Yeah.
Okay.
I really want to
So
Iron Bruno.
we'll go with an average of 6 then. There you go. Oh God, the ghost of Scott McTominay. What do we think, Vic? I call him a ghost because I didn't really see too much of him. So
The only time you saw him is when he was acting like a maniac with stupid passes. I'll go give him a 4, just because he was slightly better than Delo.
I thought that was 4. What about you, Reese? I think you're right there, Vic. I think that's fair.
A standard Scott McTominay 2.5.
Our lead.
Oh my goodness, Reese.
Our lead. What would you give Scotty?
Well, I give him a 6.5.
Oh, you liked him. You thought, yeah, you liked him.
No, he's, because usually he's like this, the anonymous soldiers. His position, he putting a lot of work, but the team not helping them.
The team's not helping. No, that's fine. Trevor goes.
Can I just ask if you're just scoring them so much high points just because they helped you out a heck of a lot yesterday?
No,
You
he's
can
quite
be honest
fair.
on that. We know the truth.
No, he's quite fair. Scott McTominay, not applicable. I like that one,
Yep.
Trevor.
I've got that reserved for one player coming up very shortly.
I'm going to give you, and I think this is a massively difficult player to score yesterday, and that is Bruno Fernandes. I'm going to start with you, Reese, because I think he's a tricky one to score. Not easy, in my humble opinion.
I think yesterday there was some good elements to his game and some very obvious negative elements. The negative elements being 1, avoiding position. 2, not effective enough, especially through the channels. I don't think in particular he was great consistently. And I don't think he had an impact in terms of attack-wise, which is a shame because I think in terms of like an attacking presence, he does have one. Not that people believe he doesn't have an attacking presence. He does. Positives to his game, however, was the fact he was at least his passing wise wasn't terrible. His passing was still effectively good. He was still trying to find passes in behind. The problem is they weren't going anywhere. Only one or two generally were effective, and we got caught straight away. Especially if you're playing it towards a midget like Garnacho.
Yes.
Like it wasn't helping. So I think theoretically, I do think score-wise,
I think Trevor's about right for me.
I'll go a little bit higher because I do think, in terms of midfield, he was at least trying to force something, but it wasn't enough. I'll say 5.5, but it wasn't. It wasn't great. It's like saying okay is acceptable. Like that's what it was. It was okay, but I generally wasn't impressed. Again, I think there's so many elements to his game that's concerning me. He's another one where I'm thinking there's generally something wrong there, and you would really want to know, but also at the moment I don't think I want to know because it would just lead to more slate.
Huh?
I've got more questions than I think there's answers when it comes to Fernandes at the moment. It's a shame because he's genuinely a good player. He genuinely is, but there's some parts of his game that is more worrying than joyful.
Okay. Our lead, what would you give Bruno?
Let's say 6.8.
6.8. I like that one. And Vic?
Oh, I'm going to give him a 6.8 because I think I like that number.
6.8.
Yeah, but I think the problem is with I can, Reese. The problem is I think when it comes to Bruno, he
what's extra Scottish?
He needs momentum. He needs pace. And the minute the game started, the lackluster in the front and from the side just killed it for him. He couldn't give him his energy out. So
yeah, I'm quite happy with
Trippier knew what he had to do with Bruno. He did quite well with it.
Yeah,
he can't even defend for Scotland either, Alex.
No,
and he played right centre back for a full calendar year, and he can't play right centre back either. So that's also Steve Clarke's fault.
I think Bruno's scores are okay. So we go to the final three, which is massively going to be interesting. So I'm going to give our lead, Mr. Rashford, Marcus Rashford.
Rashford. And if comparing to his real performance, I can give him like maybe 5.5.
Yeah. Okay. Vic. before I go to 2, yeah. Okay.
He didn't want to be there. He clearly was told to defend, and he didn't want to do that.
And Reese, what do you think?
Smile, aye. I'll think about it.
Yeah, but I've only had a sip of wine.
It's only a sip in it, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Rashford. Rashford. Okay. So non-applicable was given quite recently for a match rating. And to tell you the truth, the only one on that field who deserves the only one on that field that deserves a non-applicable is Marcus Rashford, and there's one particular reason why he deserves it more than anyone. Livermental is, I think Al Walid will agree here, Livermental is not a great defender. He's generally an okay player with a lot of room for improvement, and he's got considerable amount of work ethic. Yesterday, he dispossessed Marcus Rashford, 65, 70 yards away from our box on the touchline. Rashford chased him for 2 yards and then decided, nah, fuck this shit.
I thought it was a yard. I thought it was a yard. I think he actually went through.
If that, like, it still didn't matter. The fact that he just stopped, and I'm like, I'm sorry, but that is not good enough for a professional footballer. No, doesn't matter how much money you're making, like, you're a professional. You've got to keep going. Like, Livermental isn't the fastest fullback in the league either, so he can easily easily run up and down both fields, and he'd still catch Livermore before he got to our box.
I'm quicker than Rashford, Reece, and I use a Zimmer frame when I play, and I'm still quicker than Rashford. So there you go.
Oh my days.
Not applicable
even
for Rashford. So
I generally like in terms of the actual circumstances of his performance, though. When you look at it, he's another one where there is so many positives to his game that none of them are translating onto the pitch.
Terrible.
None of them.
Terrible.
That's a fair comment as well. It's not translating onto the pitch like the qualities he does have, and it doesn't matter what position he's playing in right now. He is not getting better. He will not play himself into form. There's so many things wrong there. He needs to be dropped for a couple of games significantly. Don't bring him on, like off the bench. Nothing. Just leave him out. Force him to actually raise his game. So for me, plain simple, I'm refusing. Yeah.
Too busy doing ads, I think.
Absolutely. So in the kindest way possible, I refuse to give Marcus Rashford a rating.
Okay, no, that's fine. We've got 2 to go. We've got the anonymous Martial and Garnacho. I think Garnacho is going to be massively difficult.
Easiest one for me. He's the easiest one for me.
All right, so then, yeah.
Well, so we'll go with Vicky with Garnacho, and then we'll go with our lead with Martial.
Garnacho had the pace, but seemed to kept on forgetting on what he was meant to be doing. And I think, his man marking, especially of like Trippier, he kept missing it. It's almost like he was going. He got distracted by something shiny and then went back to playing football again.
Interesting what you say about Trippier. I thought 2 things. I think you're absolutely right. I think Trippier showed him what the professional game is all about. And he did. I mean, but that happens with, 18, 19-year-old kids. That does happen. But Trippier showed him what professional football is all about.
6.5.
And I know why you give him a 6.5, because he didn't give up, did he? Garnacho kept going at Trippier. Whatever the block, he kept going. And I think Garnacho will come off of that, watch that game back and think, you know what, I've just been... And I mean this, by the way, anybody who's watching, I mean this in the nicest possible way. I've just been schooled by a proper veteran, by a proper right back. Okay. He was quicker than Garnacho to the ball. He wouldn't allow him to turn. But Garnacho, to his credit, he kept going. I think it's a fair score, Vic. It's a tough one. That's why I thought it was a tough one too.
I was stuck between a few myself, because I generally felt like when I mentioned earlier on about players that impressed me, it was just him and Kobe Mainoo. Like I gave Kobe Mainoo a 6.5.
Yeah.
I'd give the same to Garnacho, because it's more than just professionalism. It's work ethic. It's actually the willingness to try. And one thing that really, I said it a couple of minutes ago, which I found absolutely stupid, is why we're playing long ball passes out to Garnacho, who's a freaking midget. Like, Garnacho's a quality player, but he's a bloody midget, and you're playing long overhead passes to him. Like, I'm sorry, but how delusional can we get? Like, if you're going to play the longer passes, like up in the air, play it to Rashford. He's significantly taller than him. Play it into Garnacho's feet.
The best type of ball in for Garnacho is the backspin, so it just drops just in front of him, so he can take it in his first stride. If he's in behind, behind. But Trippier's
too cute. In front of him. If you're playing in front of him, you're playing it high. Like, he isn't going to win it, especially if like Botman or Shah or whoever it was are coming in on him. He's got no chance.
Trippier's too cute for that. Eloise, Martial, what do you think?
Martial 4.
Oh, okay, I'd agree with that, Vic.
Well, I think that's nice. That's very kind of you.
What would you give him then, Vic?
Well, what do you give a piece of cardboard that's flying around in the gust of wind?
Brilliant. I like that. So what, you're going to get 2, maybe 1?
1.5.
Oh, there you go. That's sweet.
That's
Reece,
being kind.
That is being kind. That is being very kind. Reece, follow with your Martial. Then I'm going to do something slightly different, but I want to wrap it up in a minute, because I want you guys to quickly, with our lead, rate Newcastle's team, because I'll be quite interested to see what you guys think. So let's just do Martial quickly, and then we'll get into that.
Well, first of all, I love the fact that Simeone's dividing people in the chat and on the stream. I love Simeone, but I think it's just hilarious. As for Martial, 3.5. Although I will say one thing that was significant is Martial wasn't the sulkiest out of the two that went off. It was Rashford, which is an even bigger talking point because that's a lot of things that gets pulled up on Martial when he gets subbed off as he goes into a sulk. He didn't have a sulk compared to Rashford, which is another thing that surprised me as well. That's something that does alarm me. Normally, Martial goes into a bloody sulk.
But Martial likes coming off and going on the bench. Rashford just seemed to be throwing all his toys out the pram when he came off.
I think if I was Rashford playing the way that I did, I'd have been grateful.
I would have put my head down and just gone into a seat and then put my hood over my head. I would have been gone. I do not understand that. I don't understand it.
No. So what do you give Martial then, Reese? And then we'll go into Newcastle.
3.
Okay. Right. Well, we'll rattle these off quite quickly then. So our leads, if you give us your scores from your 1 to 11, and then Reese and Vicky, and we'll go from there. So starting with Nick Pope, although could be a bad injury, could be out. Who knows? Could be a dislocated shoulder. We don't know. But if you could rattle our leads.
They mentioned it's like maybe 4 months will be away.
4 months. That's bad news for you guys, but
11 to 12 weeks, yeah.
Crikey.
That's tight. Tight hop's gone then.
Give us your scores then, pal. Right from 1 to 11.
Well, as a clean sheet before he goes, at least 8.5.
Yep. And your back four?
Back for Trippier, also 8.5.
He was excellent.
Yes. Shar and Jamal, so I could say like maybe 8. And Livramento can give him maybe 9.
Okay. And your midfield 3?
Bruno, I will give him like 9.4 or 9.5.
Mr. Guimaraes
was it was really real game for him. For Bruno and for Gillington, I can give him 8.
Miley found it a bit tough, didn't he? He played well.
Miley play good, but I think he been helped much. I still find him still young, as Vicky said, too young to be give him a number. But I can give him like 7.5.
Yeah, and then
for Almiron 8 as well. So it's generally all 8. Gordon maybe also I can give him 9.5. Isaac I can give him also maybe 7.5.
Yeah. I would have thought 7. Vic, what would you give the Newcastle team?
I don't really want to do this because I think it's just going to depress me.
Go on, give it your best shot.
No, I'll just say I'll give Gordon an 8. There we go.
Okay.
An 8.5.
Yeah. Reese?
Gordon 10. Livramento 8.5.
Why give Gordon 10? He's always been booked.
Come on, Vic, get him.
Literally for me yesterday, he had the perfect game. From what he was asked to do, it was flawless. I can't fault him.
Do you think it's because it was that super cold weather and just like you, he likes the cold?
No, I love the cold. No, for me, I like the fact that the one thing that he did yesterday that was completely different to our players in the field is that he completely got stuck in. He refused to allow himself to be compromised for his position. He showed why Newcastle spent the money on him and got himself into the team when there's players that were significantly better than him probably playing. He's now forced himself into that situation. Can't wait to see him play for Scotland if Southgate doesn't pick him again. Isaac, I'm going to be heavily critical on Isaac though, because I really do rate him. Isaac was a 6. Isaac is a 6 in a winning team because, like, for one, too many chances that he had to score, far too many touches in and around the box when he could have had 1-2 finish. Really shot himself in the foot. I think Joe Linton was a 7. I don't think he was particularly great, but he was effective when he had to do it. Pope, don't even need to score him because he had nothing to do. Dubravka had the ball in the back of his own net, even though it was like offside, so he gets the automatic plaudits for a 1 because he's pish. Overall, I thought Newcastle just played really well, but the two that stood out for me the most was Gordon and Livermental.
No, I think
I thought
that's
Trippier was all right, though. I think Trippier was all right, but other than
Yeah.
that, none of them were like. It was just a team performance that got them over the line. It was scored by a good goal by Gordon, and he was switched on. It's simple as that, really.
No, I think that's fair. I mean, our league, we don't normally do opposition ratings, but as you've come on again,
Because
which
we-
I'm very grateful for.
Yeah, because we like you so much.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. And you're more than welcome, Awali, on this channel at any time. If you just want to discuss general football, we love having you on, mate. You're absolutely brilliant. Guys, we've done over the hour now, so I think we'll just wrap it up quickly. Thanks. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Thanks, Vicky, for coming on. You've been superb as always.
Sorry
Reece,
about the technical issues.
oh, don't you panic. Reese, you've been great as always. Aloid, you've been absolutely brilliant. Just before we wrap up, Aloid, where can Devil's Advocate supporters find you? Where can they find you and follow you?
Well, I have a podcast called Newcastle the Walid. I'm freelancer journalist, and this is my 5th season. I have shows in English and Arabic as well.
Lovely.
Oh, nice.
Brilliant. Well, we'll make sure you get following Aloid, please, like his channels and support him. Reese, where can people follow you, Mr. Steel Chair?
Yeah, so you can find me here now and again. You can find me on the World of Football podcast every Monday night, 8 o'clock. Julio says I'm extra angry, extra Scottish. I don't know where these accusations are coming from, you bastard. And you can find me on the Weekly Steel Chair as well, which is my channel. So thank you. I've really enjoyed it. Thanks, and I do smile, like when I want to. But I think a game like this, where we generally really were terrible, it's not always
I've
easy
seen
to
you smile.
You do.
It's hard to be I try to be as positive as I can for certain things, but it's hard to be positive over a game like that, where even though the scoreline finished 1-0, it didn't feel like a 1-0 defeat. It felt so much more.
Well, at least we're not one of those channels that gave Maguire a 5.
I'd rather
What was
say
that?
it is than be a bullshitter.
I'm not allowed to say which channel it is, but
Tell me afterwards. What was that? Because what was that? I couldn't believe that. I was just like, that's just clickbait. That's just clickbait in a nutshell.
Always
It really
is.
is.
Which is one thing we don't do.
I'd
Vicky,
rather just say it
people
is.
find you, Chuck?
Oh, it's all right. You don't need to know. I've lost all my socials. Changed the phone and all my socials gone. The only one that kept around was Twitter, and I was like, oh, for the love of me.
Mine's is going soon. Shock horror. Like my Twitter's going soon.
There's a
Yeah, but you come back, so
January 1st. January 1st. My Twitter's going for good.
no,
Really?
it's not. It's
Yeah,
not though. It's not. He's done this before. It's not. It's not.
No, I quit Twitter in 2012, and I wasn't on Twitter for 8 years, and I'm coming off it. Start of the new year.
all right, fair enough, guys. If you want to,
I'll still stay on YouTube and shit. I'll still be on YouTube, but I'm just getting rid of Twitter because it's a bomb scare.
okay, guys, if you want to abuse me, feel free. Stu,
He likes it.
yeah, I like the abuse. I like the abuse. Don't like divas, do I, Reese? But I like the abuse.
No, I think you like divas because you like Dolly Parton.
What's wrong with Dolly? What's wrong with Dolly? I mean,
there's nothing wrong with Dolly.
Not all divas are bad though. That's what I'm saying. You like Dolly Parton, so you like divas.
Yeah, it's the odd one or two diva I can't be doing with, but you are.
You got to take the spin on that.
Yes, we do like them. Just before we go, guys, because big thanks to you all, by the way. You've been brilliant tonight. Thank you, our lead, again for taking the time to join us. Our chosen charity, manchestermind.org. There's a ticker been going across. If you can donate, please donate. Again, we don't want to forget how difficult and how horrible mental health is. So please, please, please reach out to everybody and anybody that you know, love, or even hate. It doesn't matter. Speak to people. Guys, thank you ever so much. Awali, do you want to say anything before we disappear, or are you all good?
Thank you again for having me, Stu. And we are excited that the transfer window is closed. So I think things will go better for both teams.
No, I hope so. Reese, one final message.
Again, as always, thanks for having me on. Thanks to the channel as well for always being consistent with the views. Obviously, everyone can have their views, whatever you want to say, whatever you want to feel is respected. Just remember not to be an asshole.
Yes. Vicky.
Yeah, just don't be a prick, and don't just try and repeat the same clickbait over and over again in the comments. Just be original and say how you feel.
Totally agree.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for the Devil's Advocate Twitter feed. It will be telling you upcoming shows. I know Vicky and Reese will be on during the week. I'll be probably hosting the review for our next match. I can't remember when that is. So
I won't be on Wednesday. I'm taking the Cubs ice skating, so I'll probably be in A&E by the end of that.
Oh yeah, you probably will. But I'll be playing footy Wednesday, so I won't be around myself Wednesday. So I need to dust off the Zimmer frame for Wednesday.
I'm not looking forward.
No, nor me. Guys, thank you ever so much, and we're out of here. Take care now. Bye. Oh, what happened there?